Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
I'm Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is a reaction to Manifest Season 2, Episode 4. We are venturing into a story entitled Black Box, which really, this is just more like Manifest doing its own version of a bank heist episode, which, by the way, I'm all in on bank heists being entertaining on television.
Yeah, I know it was really intense or whatever, but it was a pretty fun episode for that.
Yeah, it had a lot of good stuff. I mean, I don't know if we had enough of like the prototypical bank heist characters, because there's like that one guy that always goes too aggro and like dies halfway, and then there's like the getaway.
But they're usually bank heists. We do have like guys who know what they're doing, and it's all kind of, something goes wrong, but it's like a group of people. You don't actually get to see a lot of bank heists like this, where it's just one guy with a mission, and this is what's happening. So it was a cool take on it.
It was a cool take on it, but I mean, we'll talk about that, but also, I mean, the biggest story coming out of this episode is clearly, Saanvi, what are you doing? Why are you having that at your home? But we'll get to that. Before we dive into it, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates.
Yep.
Is Saanvi venturing now into mad scientist territory, where she is so desperate to get the answers that she's not thinking clearly?
No, I think she is thinking clearly, in that there's only a limited amount of time to get the answers. There is a death date. She wants to find the answers. She's on the cusp of finding something out. In some ways, actually in many ways, it was unfair that Vance was going to ask her to stop.
Yeah.
Like, why? This is not, he doesn't understand. And Saanvi understands. So I get that she can't have her lab at the lab. She can't continue there. She knows that it's been burned. Okay, that's cool. But then I was like, but then you're going to take it to your home? Your home is like the #1 place that the major is going to be looking at and watching you at, and like, it is the worst place to bring it. What I was kind of thinking or hoping, I know this wouldn't push the story forward because clearly they need the major to find this stuff. But why didn't Saanvi just go to Vance and say, listen, I'm going to continue doing this research. So either I can have a lab in my home, which we all know is a bad idea, or you can have it here, where you are, where nobody knows where you are. Major's not monitoring this. I've been able to come in and out of here, so let me trek my mice over here. Let me do my stuff here. This is safe. What do you think? I feel like Vance would be like, yeah, okay, that does make sense. You know, that's fine. But that didn't end up happening. And so her having it in her house made me a little bit disappointed, because I think Saanvi is one of the best characters on this show. I love her. I think she's really smart and really interesting, and I've been dying to know more about her. We've been getting a little bit more. Yeah. But I was really disappointed that that was the decision she made, because last episode we saw her being so like ninja-like, figuring out what's going on, planting all these really interesting things for the major to grab onto, and then she's like, I'm going to set up a lab in my house.
Another great, just another suggestion. Storage locker. How many great television things happen in storage lockers? I feel like they're in like 80% of all TV.
Santa Clarita Diet. Yes. They were murdering people in there.
Terrible things often happen in television storage lockers. Dexter, for example.
Yeah, I just think that if it was, even if she didn't want to do that she could have just basically told Vance it's going to happen with or without your permission, so let's make it safe. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the unfortunate thing is, no matter what she did, Major has now discovered it, and this is, wait for it, a major problem for the remainder of the season, because it's like, what do they do now to stop someone who's already got more resources than them, and also now has the same amount of knowledge as them? Is there a way to counteract this? I mean, is there a way where, is ultimately Vance going to realize now, oh, maybe I do need to have a lab here, and maybe Saanvi needs to get to work, because now we're really racing against time.
Yeah, it is, and that is what's happening, is everything's been taken from her. She is the most valuable person on this team. She has the most knowledge. She'll be able to hopefully replicate some of this stuff. I don't know. It is a race against the Major at this point.
So let's talk about Michaela now, because it seems as though we have sort of been, is she going to be Team Jared? Is she going to be Team Zeke? I mean, are there really teams? After we get through this bank heist stuff, which really, it doesn't matter that much for, like, the long-term, outlook of Manifest. Yeah, it was fun.
The only main thing that we needed out of that was to see that peacock on the back of that compass. And we did. So we know that that's been tied in throughout the series so far. But it feels like now it's going to be playing an even more major more major role.
How much is NBC in their upcoming Peacock streaming service loving the fact that they chose this as a symbol? Like, really? But yeah, I mean, we just it's fascinating that it's there. There are a lot of different, like, mythological meanings for peacocks. I mean, we talked about that already.
Yeah, and they mentioned a little bit of it on the show already, that it's resurrection, it's immortality, that it's the animal that was with Juno, the Greek goddess, and that it has a lot of meaning behind it. And it makes sense for this, since this is sort of a show about coming back from the dead.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, unfortunately, is just we don't know a whole lot as to how that meaning is going to apply itself here. All we know is that Michaela and Zeke are starting to realize they're hearing callings at basically the same time. They're hearing the same sort of callings. That connection is real, and I think it's pretty clear that Michaela and Zeke are going to be more of a thing for at least the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, and it's making me, again, I was worried about this last episode. I'm a little bit worried more about it this episode. Where does Jared fit in this? Because he's a character that I also really like. Yeah. And I feel that he just doesn't really have as much of a place now with everything that's going on. And we need to find a way to bring him more into the fold so that we get more Jared. He doesn't have to be with Michaela, but if he's not, we do need to find a way to fold him back in, because it would really suck to lose him just because they don't really know what to do with him.
I guess my prediction then would be, I feel like we're going to see him maybe get mixed up a little bit more in her life just because he cares about her. But then beyond that, she's probably not going to be able to think that clearly because she's getting all the callings. He can sort of be the voice, I don't want to say the voice of reason, but rather just the counterpoint. Like, every person needs someone sometimes to be like, you gotta slow your roll a little bit, you're going to get yourself killed. Maybe he can sort of watch her from afar, and when there are problems, sort of turn up. I mean, I don't get the sense the character is leaving, so I think he's going to have a big role sooner or later.
Yeah, it just feels like the main purpose of him is to almost be like an interpreter between, like, what's going on with Michaela, because he knows about the callings, and then everyone else who doesn't understand the callings or doesn't know that they exist, so that he can keep the balance between people who have them and people who don't even know that they're happening.
Yeah, we need somebody to sort of fill that role a little bit more, because Ben and Michaela, they are both like, team, grab your cape and go out into the field and save the day and not think about anything in advance sometimes. Yeah. We need somebody to balance them, and Grace is getting pulled more and more into that as well now. Let's go into the direction now of, I don't know, what should we call the Church of the Believers? Is it the creepy church? Is it the mystery church? I don't know where they're going with this.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, because at first I thought maybe it was more like a bit of a support group, and I think that it kind of still is.
Yeah.
But it does feel like Adrian's wanting it to be more faith based, because now he knows about the death date that's coming up, and he's still like, we have to have faith, we have to have hope, we were already brought back from the dead. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, how many times can you be brought back and brought back and brought back? This isn't like Game of Thrones and that guy who was dying over and over again.
No Beric Dondarrion, unfortunately, on Manifest.
So it makes me wonder, like, what this really is for him. That is this just he wants to bury his head in the sand, or is this a way that just makes him feel special having this church and leading this group? But really, it still feels like this is about having hope and being a support for each other.
I think on some level you're right. I worry anytime you have some sort of leader in the position that Adrian is in. It always feels like there's something nefarious, and I think in Manifest there are a lot of nefarious people.
It's true, but I think Adrian just wants to hold on to hope. I don't think he wants to be, oh, we came back and then we're going to die and this is all hopeless. I think he just is trying to hold on to a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith that everything is going to work out okay. And it's a nice balance in some ways, because then we have, everybody else who's spiraling out of control about this date and what's going on.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on Olive deciding to spill some more of the beans to somebody who the rest of the family doesn't really know?
I don't know.
Yeah, like she's, I get it. She's young. It's an influential figure. It's someone she's connecting to on some spiritual level.
She's just having a hard time.
Yeah.
Like, she's just not fitting in anywhere. And I think it's already crappy being that age. So then throw on top of it all this other stuff. Like, I think it's going to be okay. I don't know. There's just something in me that feels like this church isn't nefarious or trying to do horrible things. It feels like it's a support group.
These people always make me nervous on these shows. Next thing you know, they're going to be wandering off to, you guessed it, a storage locker full of dark stuff. But no, all right, let's set the stage for episode 5.
Yep.
There's a couple of events that I think are going to be interesting. Michaela's going to be doing some sort of investigation that will involve this group, the Church of the Believers. Is she looking for something nefarious? We don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it may just be an interest in Olive and what she's doing, because Olive's getting deeper into this group, that maybe it's just a possibility that Michaela's like, okay, now my family's involved.
Yeah.
So it's one thing for you guys to be doing whatever, but now that's not cool. So maybe it could be something along those lines, where then maybe she stumbles on something else.
Maybe. That certainly, I think, could happen, that this could all be linked in a way that nobody suspects. The other thing is that there will be some sort of incident involving Grace and Cal where they are targeted, at least seemingly. I would imagine this is going to cause Ben to grab that cape in record time, try to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's going to have something to do with Ben's new job and this woman that hates them and everything that's going on with her husband and all of that. So, because that is not the last time we've seen them, and they clearly have a problem with Ben's family.
Yeah.
They've wished their baby dead, which is just terrible.
Yeah.
So running them down or doing whatever doesn't seem like it's out of the realm of possibility for those two.
Yeah, I just want some more really big reveals, and I think that's the thing, is like I'm enjoying Manifest so far through these first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
but
it's been good.
It's also only 13 episodes. It's not a long season, so you gotta get to the delivering, I think, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a chance to see that. But now we gotta know from you guys, what did you think about Manifest Season 2, Episode 4? Share in the comments, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.